Huge news. We are 35% of the way through the off-season in the NFL. We have got the draft done and dusted. We'll reflect on that today and see how our picks did. But we're looking forward to, I guess now, Tom, I would say the Hall of Fame game, and no one looks forward to that. But the season is up next. We've got a long way. We've got a whole summer to get out of the way, but we're 35% of the way there. I like it in a percentage.
Yeah, I think it's like 140, 135 days. So we're not actually that far away. I mean, it does sound quite long when I say it like that, but we'll be there sooner rather than later. We do have the season coming up, but we've also got the fantasy period now where we go through all the NFL fantasy drafts. That kind of can be as exciting as the actual season itself. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks and then getting into the season proper.
It can be. Tom is the commissioner of our Dynasty League. He updated the rookie draft date the other day. I think it was like August 7th or something like that.
Yeah.
I looked at it, I was like, well, you know what? August isn't that far away. That's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mr. 101 over here. Wonder who I'm going to take on that. I did trade, by the way. I did trade for 101.
You did.
I didn't suck entirely last year. I just sucked a little bit. But welcome to the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. If you're just finding us for the first time, a very warm welcome to you. If you're returning, welcome. I assume you're subscribed if you're returning as well, because we are on the march towards 1,000 subscribers. We're past 600 now, but we want to get to 1,000 by the time the NFL season starts. That would be fantastic. And also, we're getting to know you guys a little bit better as well. Part of that is by commenting down below. We're going to give another listener league spot away for fantasy football, and we're gonna tell you about the winner for the listener league today, because in the draft, Tom, we said leave down 2 of your draft thoughts or draft picks below. If you get both of them right, you're in the hat. We had 2 people that managed to get correct answers because the draft had a bit of a shake-up.
It did, yeah. I mean, there were some very out there picks and some trades that we weren't necessarily anticipating. Some players fell, some players rose in the draft. So it was tricky, as proven by the fact I went over 3 with my actual bets. You did a lot better, by the way. So anyone that actually did get it right did very well. And you say there were 2?
There were 2. There were MC the founder. He had Cam Ward to the Titans and Anand Membu to the Jets. He's a Jets fan, so he spelled out the Jets because they're lame. And Connor Hackett also came in. Cam Ward to the Titans and Ashton Genty to the Raiders, who wasn't quite the home run pick that we expected, because at one point on the day, Ashton Genty to go pick number 6 to the Raiders, Tom, was about 6-1 because we had all the speculation of Chicago trading up. So Connor Hackett, he had to sit in his hands a little bit.
Yeah, very well done to both Connor and MC, the founder. 2 fantastic selections from both of you. What are we doing regarding the listener league then?
I feel bad, honestly, that one of them has to miss out. So,
I feel like we can be a little bit more lenient. Come on, this is a happy time of year for everyone, especially everyone that's tuning into the NFL videos for us in the off season. Let's give it to both of them.
Go on. They're in.
Good.
Me and Tom were trying to think of ways that we could fairly do this. And judging for the fact that one of them is Tom's brother in MC the founder, we thought, well, if it comes up him on any sort of draw, it's going to look like we're just being lenient towards the Collins family. And we hate the Collins family.
Hey, whoa. That's a little too far.
Okay, we don't hate the Collins family. They're good people. But either way, Brother Collins, you're in. And also Connor Hackett, you are in as well. That brings our listener league up to 5. So we've got 7 spots left.
Yep, 7 spots left and a little bit of time to add them. As you say, we're probably going to give one away in this video as well.
Not probably. We are going to give one away in this video. Like, that's as if we come in unplanned. For this video, unless you're Paul Powley, unless you're Connor Hackett, unless you're Brother Collins, leave a comment down below. We want to know your favorite draft pick. If you just comment it, that puts you into the hat, and then we'll be unleashing that draw whenever that may well be on our next video in a few weeks' time. But your favorite draft pick, comment it down below, and you'll be automatically in the hat for the listener league. Let's move forward, though. I said on the latest podcast, Tom, the older I get, the more I enjoy the NFL draft. It's so fun. Round 1 is just unbelievable. Once Cam Ward was out of the way, because we all knew that was going to go, immediately the trade for the Jacksonville Jaguars to go up to 2 and get Travis Hunter came in. We were sitting there, this is the start that you want.
Yeah, the draft is phenomenal. It's a great watching brief. We do have to wait quite a long time in the day for it to happen, being in the UK. It didn't start till 1 a.m. And then my one concern, actually, and issue with the draft, and I don't really want to raise this early on to bring a bit of negativity in, is it takes too long for these picks. I saw Roger Goodell, actually, the NFL commissioner, went on a podcast and he said they want to quicken it up for future years, maybe shorten the clock for the first round down to 7 minutes. And I was thinking, what a phenomenal idea. Probably the best Rodgers ever had, considering some of the poor decisions he's made. But yeah, if that happens and the NFL draft is literally going to be a 10 out of 10 watch, it still is a 9.5 out of 10. And as you say, when there are early trades and shock selections, it's just great. It provides an opportunity where we're just on WhatsApp going, what on earth is happening right now? Fantastic.
My biggest bugbear with the NFL draft is every single year, the number one pick, we all know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams. This year it's Cam Ward. You've had months to think about who you're going to take as number one pick. You know who you're going to take. We know who you're going to take. Cam Ward was 2,000 to 1 on to be the first pick. It took you like 8 minutes to pick Cam Ward. You know you're taking him.
Do you know what it is, though? It's not anything to do with the Titans. It's not anything to do with the actual process of announcing the pick. They are told to elongate the clock so that the commercial team, the broadcasting team, can talk about Cam Ward. It's just a little bit long, isn't it? I mean, especially considering the build-up to the draft started at 11 p.m. our time. In the US, it probably started, even earlier. So they've got 2 hours to talk about Cam Ward if they want to. I agree with you. I'm not going to blame the team and I'm not going to blame the process, but I am going to blame the NFL on this one.
Yeah, my thought is that they're sitting there. Is Cam with a K or a C? C. Are you sure about that? Can you just check? Can you just? It's like Ward. That's a hard one to spell as well. W-O-A. Oh, didn't think that one coming. That's just a glimpse behind the curtain into what goes on with the first pick. First pick, the favourite for it, about a month ago, Tom, maybe a little bit more than that, was Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders was not taken early on whatsoever. He was a day 3 pick in the end. He goes to Cleveland. I don't think anyone saw him falling this far, but there were plenty of rumours sort of in the weeks building up to the draft that he wasn't going to be a first-round pick. And, boy, were they right.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a third rounder, to be fair. I actually said that to you on the day before the first round, so that is not after timing. But when he fell past the third round, I think that surprised virtually every single person, every single NFL fan. There are reasons for it that were announced on social media from different people, Adam Schefter being one of them, Ari Meirov as well, basically saying that quite a few GMs across the league just told their coaches, their managers, to take Sanders off their draft board, regardless of position, whether that be due to ego, bad meetings, off the field stuff. I don't know, but yeah, he's obviously not in favour. I think when it got to the 5th round, we were pretty certain which team was going to take him. There seems to be one team in the league that doesn't care about quarterback off the field issues.
No, they don't. That is the Cleveland Browns, who now have 5 on their roster because they took Dylan Gabriel as well. But the one thing I will say, even if Shedeur Sanders is the biggest jerk in the world, even if anyone's the biggest jerk in the world, did you see the prank call stuff?
Yeah, that was rough.
Don't do that. Such a loser. Honestly, apparently Tyler Warren was got as well. They called Tyler Warren when pick 7 was up for the Jets because that was his potential landing spot. But let's not do that. He bought a new phone just for the draft. Did you see how they got the number?
Yeah, I did. It was like a son of a defensive coordinator or something.
Yeah, Jeff Ulbrich of the Falcons. Just don't do that. If you get a chance, it'll be a really funny idea. But just leave it as an idea. That's whatever. Let these guys have their moment. Speaking of moments, for the NFL draft, we each put up selections. Managed to get 2 in. We ended up in profit on that part, mainly thanks to the Bears taking a tight end. However, I built up in the whole of the NFL draft podcast I think they're going to take Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren is definitely a number 10 pick. That is, for me, locked and loaded. And it was 11-2. Great price. They didn't take Tyler Warren. And I was sat here sort of texting you, it's like, they've got to take Tyler Warren. Like, McMillan's gone, Genty's gone. Who else are they going to take? They have to take Tyler Warren. He's a tight end. And the bet was for any tight end to be taken at pick number 10. Oh, no, sorry, but by the Chicago Bears with their first pick, which was number 10. Then Colston Loveland was announced as the pick. I was like, no, why have you done that? And it took not even minutes. It took Tom to message going, still a winner though, isn't it?
you were so, you were just so zoned in on had to be Tyler Warren. I think in your mind you thought that you bet Tyler Warren or you advised
Yeah.
Tyler Warren to go to the Bears, but actually you just advised tight end. So when Loveland got called out, I won't repeat exactly what you wrote, but it was a profanity. Um, and then I was like, well, actually your bet still won, so I don't really know why you're complaining. You were like, oh yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, we're all good. In fact, I'd written out the tweet to say we had a winner with Tyler Warren's name in there, deleted it out of anger, and then had to retype the whole thing saying we had a winner. So there's insight into my draft night. I was not thinking straight at all. But we also got the Seahawks taking an O lineman with their first pick as well. And Tom, praise the Lord, we took an O lineman.
Yeah, very well done. You were good. You were good with your selections, by the way. Two winners and one at good price, as you say, with the tight end. I wasn't as good. Colston Loveland going early to the Bears threw off my Chargers pick, which wasn't ideal. Denver didn't take a running back in the first round, which was very surprising. And then Baltimore, I think, went safety instead of D-line. So, yeah, I was wrong. And it's not a good start to the NFL season for me. Horse racing seems to be working, NFL not at the moment. But we've got a long road ahead going into this season. And you made it a profitable podcast anyway. So, very well done.
Yeah, it's one of the worst things when a draft goes wrong early on, and then it hinders your selections further down the line. Thinking, well, at least Denver are going to take Amari and Hampton. Everyone knows they're going to take. No, they're going to take. They're going to go corner. Okay, fair enough. Everything's going to pot then. But let's talk about winners and losers of the draft. Biggest winners with this can be teams, can be players, anyone who's benefited from the NFL draft. Tom, you have got 4 winners, 1 loser. I've got 2 losers and 3 winners. Go on, give us your 4 winners. Reel them off.
Yeah, I'm going to reel them off quick fire here with a little bit of detail as to why I put them in the winners category. Green Bay is going to be in my number 1, and it's not from a biased opinion. It's for numerous different factors. Firstly, Green Bay, the venue for the NFL draft, they hosted it this year. I thought they did a great job. Firstly, everything went to plan, which doesn't always happen. Secondly, the crowds were phenomenal. I think they had 600,000 people turn out across the 3 days. Green Bay as an area only has a population of 329,000. I mean, it's just mad how many people turned up and was there in person. I thought the spectacle was brilliant. Everything about the actual draft this year, from a viewing perspective, was fantastic. So Green Bay, A+, you did a great job there. When it comes to the team,
Can I just interfere?
Of course.
The Green Bay metropolitan area has 320,000.
Yeah.
The city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, is 107,000.
Well, exactly. I mean, it makes it even better.
Like that's literally double the amount of people that live there. Their hotels must have been doing roaring trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good. Actually, I didn't think about that. That is a good point. Hotels have done very well. Yeah. Secondly, the team itself, I thought drafted really well. Taking a wide receiver in the first round for the first time in over 20 years, that was huge. Not only for the people there, but for the team itself, considering the lack of wide receiver talent in that room right now. Again, taking a kind of a skill player with the 3rd round pick. He's a wide receiver, Savion Williams, but a skill player. He very much can do everything. And also an O-lineman, in round 2 to protect Jordan Love. I thought the drafting was great from Green Bay. And also, did you see this? We added Isaiah Simmons on Monday. I mean, the former 8th overall pick, phenomenal pickup in free agency. So Green Bay are my biggest winners overall, not just for drafting, but the venue as well. 3 other quick fire ones here, not as long as that one. Number 1, Quinshad Judkins. He went the way of Cleveland in this draft. He could have found numerous other spots. He was a guy that had a really good collegiate career at Ohio State, very good running back. But generally, these types of running backs usually play second fiddle in the NFL, especially for the first year or 2. But I thought he landed in the right spot at Cleveland. They're going to be running the ball a lot because they've got 5 quarterbacks, none of whom they quite clearly trust at this stage, including 2 rookies. So they're going to run the ball. Jerome Ford is currently RB1. I don't think he's a proper RB1. He's good. He's versatile. He has great agility, but he spent most of his career as RB2, Jerome Ford, especially at Cleveland. So I think Judkins has a chance to overhaul him, and he will be a really good fantasy pickup in dynasty leagues. The Chargers, I thought, did a really good job in the draft. Amari and Hampton fell to pick 22, and LA picked him up, which was a great acquisition for them. Obviously, a run-heavy offense. They have Najee Harris, but Hampton is the perfect kind of backup, and they can tandem in that offense, run the ball very effectively. And again, I think Hampton's a really good dynasty pickup. because Najee Harris isn't going to last forever. And finally, CJ Stroud is my last winner of the draft, the Texans quarterback. He was looking at a wide receiver room that was basically Nico Collins, an injured Tank Dell with only one leg, and no one else. And the Texans have really helped him out in the draft. They picked up 2 Ohio State wide receivers in Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, as well as a huge left tackle, a beast of a guy, 6'6". He's massive, that will protect the backside of CJ Stroud. So Stroud probably was going into the draft thinking, I'm in trouble this year. I've got no one to throw to. I'm probably going to get sacked a lot. Now he's not.
What about the rest of the O-line? Where are they?
Don't worry about that. He can see them. He can see the right tackle.
Run that way, CJ.
Yeah, exactly.
He was close to being a winner for me as well, CJ Stroud, just because he got more weapons. But the O-line for me is still a slight concern. Regards to Amari Hampton that you mentioned, a dynasty pick. What in a rookie draft this year, 102 or 103?
I don't. I think he'd go 103, 104. You know, I think he obviously Gentry's 101. There's no doubt about that. I think Ted McMillan may go 102.
Yeah, I think he's 102 because of his position, because he's a wide receiver. But I mean, any dynasty teams that need desperately running backs,
Yeah,
this guy. My RB1 at the moment, by the way, is Jalen Warren.
nice.
Yeah, we're doing well. But it's going to be Ashton Jeanty very soon. My winners for the NFL draft, I've got 3 of them. They're all 3 of them are quarterbacks as well. 2 of them are kind of in the capacity of, well, if you can't succeed now, you're not going to, effectively. However, the first one is not that at all. Baker Mayfield, I would say he crushed it in a draft. He didn't do anything, but he got 2 new receivers in Ibuka and Tez Johnson, who was added late on. Obviously, Jalen McMillan, we know he ended last year really, really powerfully. He's a second-year receiver going into this year. He's obviously got Evans and Godwin as well, who are going to be healthy, question mark, going into this season. Obviously, Chris Godwin's got to come off the back of quite a bad, it was a dislocated ankle last year, and Mike Evans is just like 1,000 years old, but keeps on churning it out. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a massive year once set again. The Buccaneers just look like a nice team as well. Their defense, they added plenty on defense, which is going to help out the team as a whole, maybe less so as fantasy. But I do think Baker Mayfield's in line for a big season. My one question was, what on earth were Tampa doing? I was shocked when they took Ibuka in the first round, because I don't think they needed him. And then later on as well, when they took, was it Tez Johnson? Mm-hmm. You're adding another one into the room. But for the future, they're looking good right now. I think Trevor Lawrence is a big winner as well. I know he lost a large part of his offense in the sense that Evan Engram went towards Denver. Christian Kirk has left. He's gone to the Texans and gone elsewhere. So they needed to bring receivers in, and they managed to do so. They traded up. They got Travis Hunter, who, for all intents and purposes, looks like he's going to play more wide receiver than cornerback, but he will play corner as well. So they helped out in that regard. They gave him an offensive lineman in Wyatt Milan from West Virginia at pick 89. That was in round 3. And they also added in a couple of running backs as well. I do think that he's going to be helped out. I think they brought in De'Ami Brown off the top of my head as well in the offseason. So Jacksonville is starting to look a little better. I know they added running backs, but they've still got Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne to look at as well. I think this offense is just going to look better. I think they're going to have a better offensive line. And again, they've paid Trevor Lawrence now. It's the case of, if you can't succeed in this or show improvement, then when are you going to? Because at the moment, you're not really looking like the Trevor Lawrence that we drafted a few years ago. And I think, speaking of draft picks that haven't quite worked out, Bryce Young, I think he comes out a real winner from this draft. Obviously, last year he had an up and down season. He was benched in the middle part of things, came back, and he looked brilliant at the end of the year when he had a few guys to aim at. Adam Thielen was a big target for him, but they've added in, obviously, Xavier Legette last year. They've added in Ted McMillan. Their receiving core's looking quite nice. The fact as well they took Ted McMillan at pick 8, that was way above when anyone expected him to go. They expected him to go teens, maybe slipping towards the late teens. However, they took him early. They've given Bryce Young 2 big bodies to aim at as well with Legette and McMillan. I think he's going to be helped out massively. Again, their defense has helped out. They brought in Trevor Etienne in the running back side of things. They gave him a wide receiver as well in round 6. They're looking to build around Bryce Young. And I mean, I wouldn't have said it back end of last year, Tom, but Bryce Young, he looked good back end of last year.
Yeah, I thought the Carolina, they were kind of stamped down as being an 0 for 16 team last year, weren't they, for much of the season? But they actually performed a lot better throughout the whole year. I know Bryce had a couple of weeks where he didn't look great at the start, and obviously he was benched. Dalton came in. But yeah, in the back end of the season, their defense played well. Their offense was moving the ball, generally through Chuba Hubbard and Adam Thielen. But yeah, they have lots of talent. And they also have Jalen Coker as well that you didn't mention there at receiver. So that room is full of talent. And maybe they can kind of make their mark in what is going to be a weak division this year.
Yeah, their O-line as well is strong. I know at the start of the year last year it was in a bit of a mess, but they worked it out and their O-line is good. I think Bryce Young's going to have a big season, but he needs it as well because so far in the NFL, consistently, he hasn't quite cut it, but I think he's in a position to succeed. NFL losers, I've got 2, you've got 1. Anyone that goes to Cleveland. But in a serious note, kind of right.
Yeah, I found it hard to really come out of a proper loser in the draft because everyone just adds new weapons to their offense or defense, and therefore it's hard to say that any team is a loser. You can say that some selections and some picks weren't at the right point. They've been reaches, or they haven't found the right position that was a team need. But again, I found it difficult from that regard. So I thought of this section as from a personal perspective, and I thought if you were Dylan Gabriel, how much of a loser do you feel right now? I mean, the Cleveland Browns picked him up in the 3rd round. He had a good collegiate career at Oregon and also Oklahoma, I think it was. And he goes into the draft with a hope of being a rookie backup, and then potentially progressing to be the starter of whichever team he joins. He then gets drafted in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns. The Browns quarterback room right now is Deshaun Watson, injured and won't last forever because he's old enough now and is also very injury prone. He's out for most of this year, so he's immediately on the bench and not going to be playing. Then they've got Kenny Pickett, who's been a backup for most of his NFL career and also not really done much when he started. And Joe Flacco, who's about 45 years old and is not really going to be taking many snaps. So when Gabriel was drafted by the Browns, he's thinking, unbelievable. I've probably found myself a spot where I've got a brilliant chance of starting, especially by the time it comes to mid-season, maybe not straight away, but mid-season, I've got a great chance of surpassing Kenny Pickett if we're not winning any games. Then they draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. I mean, 2 quarterbacks in one draft is a little bit out there anyway, but for Gabriel, when Sanders, who's actually projected to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks actually in the draft when it comes to talent, for them to pick him up, it's kind of like Gabriel's now, oh, I'm a backup to another rookie who's then a backup to a couple of experienced QBs. It's just not great for Gabriel. He was probably extremely excited and then not. And you know what they say, Luke? It's the hope that kills you.
It is. You say Dylan Gabriel feels like a loser, draft loser.
Yeah, of course.
Dylan Gabriel is a winner. He is rich. But there is a firm out there, a bookmaker, that are offering prices for the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback in week 1.
Really? I didn't know this. Go on.
Who would you have favourite? You've got obviously Watson, Sanders, Gabriel, Pickett, and Joe Flacco.
Well, Watson's out. He can't start week 1.
Watson's outsider of the field at 30-1, but don't take that. He needs a miracle to come back.
Yeah. I mean, Pickett's got to be favourite, right?
Nope.
This is ludicrous. Is Sanders favourite?
Nope.
Joe Flacco?
Yep.
That is crazy.
Joe Flacco's 5-4. I think they have said at the moment he is the starter, but I mean, there's a lot of young guys in behind him. Flacco's 5-4, Kenny Pickett 9-4, 13-4 Shedeur Sanders, 17-2 Dylan Gabriel. Then Watson's at 30-1.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 5-4 is the worst 5-4 you'll see. There is no way Joe Flacco starts week 1. No way.
Clip it, and bring it back. Clip it and bring it back. My 2 losers of the NFL draft. We're going to start with a team that I love dunking on, the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are you doing? They would love one of the 5 quarterbacks that Cleveland have got because they got none. Well, they got Mason Rudolph, but when you got Mason Rudolph, you got none. They're maybe bringing in Aaron Rodgers. You got none. Kirk Cousins is out there. You got none. Like, who's going to throw the ball? You bought in DK Metcalf, and I know that they drafted Will Howard in round 6, but he's not going to be a starter immediately. You bought in DK Metcalf, you paid him a buttload of money, and then you gone, I don't know who's going to throw the ball to you, though. And then on the other side, you got George Pickens as well. I just don't see how they're going to move the offense. They need to bring in all seriousness, they need to bring in Aaron Rodgers. We're expecting that to happen. Aaron Rodgers is being Aaron Rodgers. He's trying to make things last for as long as possible to keep the spotlight on him. Even with Aaron Rodgers coming into this Pittsburgh team, I wouldn't be overly thrilled about it, honestly. I would be staying away from all of their offensive assets in a fantasy side of things, and I just don't get how the Steelers are going to be a functional offense this year. But I say that, Tom, the Steelers have kind of been that way for the last few years. Their defense is just so good.
Yeah, the defense is great, and Mike Tomlin just seems to end up having winning season after winning season. It's just a Tomlin factor. I think they will get A-Rod in, but yeah, he's past his peak now. You know, he could still be an okay QB if he took his ego out of the equation. And I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not hating on him by any means, but he does tend to want to be in the limelight rather than actually just play ball at the moment.
Yeah, exactly that. Even last year in New York is a touch embarrassing at times. The final loser I've got for the NFL draft is Tyler Warren, who I didn't think I'd be saying this before the NFL draft, but I hate his landing spot with the Colts. The Colts are a team, again, quarterback, they've kind of got things worked out a little bit more. They're still hoping that Anthony Richardson can shape up into an not serviceable, accurate quarterback, because his accuracy last year was absolutely awful. Again, he got benched for Joe Flacco at points in the season, and they brought in Daniel Jones as well. Again, I don't mind Daniel Jones. I think he's a fine quarterback, but he's not a starting quarterback that's going to take you year in, year out in the NFL. He's a very, very good backup, though. But again, he's had accuracy problems in the past, albeit, in fairness to him, behind truly awful offensive lines in New York. But Tyler Warren, he must have been sat there thinking, I could go to the Jets. They're a nice up-and-coming team where they've got loads of pieces and I could fit in quite nicely. I could go to the Bears. I'm going to be favourite to go to the Bears. I would love to go to the Bears. You got Caleb Williams throwing the ball at you. That offense looks great. I could play for Ben Johnson. But no, you go to Indianapolis, a team that they don't use tight ends that efficiently. He is going to be the number one, without a shadow of a doubt. He's going to be the number one in Indianapolis. I think at the moment, Drew Ogletree is number 2 on the depth chart. You got Mo Ali Cox there. He will be the tight end one, but there could have been so many better landing spots than this. And this isn't a slight on the Indianapolis Colts team. I understand, Colts fans, why you are buzzing about this pick. I would be as well. I think it's a great pick for you guys. However, for Tyler Warren, there were better landing spots than that. I don't think you'd be disappointed being drafted 14, Tom. But if I had that call, maybe someone else?
I would say, I'm glad you pointed out, by the way, at the end there, you're not saying it towards the Colts, you're saying it more towards from a Tyler Warren perspective. Because from a Colts perspective, I think he's the perfect pick. And he actually might be okay this year, Tyler Warren, because that offense does need a tight end. And I feel like Richardson needs a safety blanket. Pittman's okay, but he generally faces double coverage. Josh Downs okay. They've got a good running game. If you've got that tight end in the middle of the field that Richardson can just chuck it down to, especially one that can take advantage of the seam as well, then he could have a good season as a rookie. But yeah, I think there are probably one or two better, more efficient offenses that Warren would have hoped to have landed in. Nevertheless, the Colts could actually improve by the fact he's now in that team.
100%. They should take a step forward anyway, but they do need to sort out whoever is playing at quarterback. We have sorted out 2 bets for this podcast as well. We're not looking as maybe exotically as we did in the NFL draft, so they're slightly shorter prices, but a team that, I mean, you're going to be dunking on for a while, Tom. And nice that you're kitted out in their colours as well.
Yeah, I thought I'd go black and white for the LA Raiders, new team, Las Vegas Raiders. Everyone always comes to these podcasts hoping that there's a bet. Now, we tried to put a bet at the end. If you stay through this whole podcast, this is where you get rewarded. If you skip through, then whatever. But hopefully, this is a winner because I'm pretty confident this is a very good price. The Raiders under 6.5 wins in the 2025-26 season. That's currently available at even money. I can't see them winning more than 7 games or 7 or more games. Where are the wins coming from? They're playing in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs, who aren't going to be as good, in my opinion, this year as they have been in the last 5 to 10 years. But they're still going to be good enough to beat the Raiders twice. So that's 2 losses. Then the other 2 divisional teams, they've got the Broncos, who I think are going to be excellent this year. There is no way the Raiders are moving the ball in Denver. That's 2 more losses for the Raiders, 0-4 in the division. Then you have the Chargers, who I think are going to be much better than the Raiders this year. They've got better wide receivers, good running back game, as already talked about in this podcast. Justin Herbert's quality QB, providing he can keep that O-line actually protecting him. And the defense is solid. I think they go 0-6 in the division. Now, we're waiting for the full schedule. That comes out on May the 14th, so a couple of weeks from now. We're recording this on April 29th, if you're watching this later. But I can't imagine the Raiders are going to be given that many games that they can actually win. Yes, they signed Ashton Jeanty, which is what, well, not signed, drafted, which is why they are currently listed at over under 6.5 wins. Jeanty cannot carry this whole offense. It's just not possible. At quarterback, they've got Geno Smith. Okay, I respect him. He's had a great career, but I think he's definitely on the downward trajectory. And he makes lots of bad decisions, in my opinion. A wide receiver, they have a couple of okay players, and that is being generous. Their wide receiver room, in my opinion, is probably the worst in the league. Tight end, obviously, they have Brock Bowers, who is one of the best, if not the best tight ends in the National Football League. So he's great. But they can't win games just on Bowers and Jeanty. I see the Raiders winning maybe 4 games like they did last year, and therefore hitting the under here. So I'll take the Las Vegas Raiders under 6.5 wins. Even money, great price.
Did you notice in that whole spiel that I left for like a minute then?
I didn't, but I'm sure people at home did.
The whole we're gauging the podcast around delivery that was coming this morning, and the guy just arrived just then, and Tom started talking. I was like, I reckon I can get to the front door and back by the time he's done. So when you watch back this podcast, you're gonna have the most stupid run that I just did, because I can't run full feet because they'll be like boom, boom, boom. So I had to run on like my tiptoes and like go woo.
I'm looking forward to watching that back.
Yeah. But the delivery's out of the way now. We're all good. My selection for this, and I don't love Tom's one. I'm going to be honest with you. I do think the Raiders will be okay, but they are in hell division. That is one slight concern, and I could easily see them going 0-6. However, my bet for the upcoming season is Baker Mayfield over 3,800.5 passing yards. That's 10 to 11. Look, Baker Mayfield was one of my winners that I put up a moment ago. He's eclipsed 4,000 yards in the last 2 seasons. He looked very good last year. And as I said earlier on, they added Emeka Egbuka. They added Tez Johnson late on in the draft. Jalen McMillan's going to be a more complete and a more rounded receiver this season for the whole year as well. Jalen McMillan wasn't really a thing until about week 15-ish last year, and that was when, well, it was after Chris Godwin got hurt. That was when he really stepped into the role. Honestly, if you don't have Egbuka, if you don't have Tez Johnson, and you're just looking at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan on his second year, you're looking at that thinking, I've got a really good wide receiver core. You've got Cade Otton to throw in as well. You've got, to be fair, the run game is good. Rashad White will probably be more receiving this year, but you've got Bucky White to look forward to as well. He looks like he's going to be a star going forward. He looked fantastic last year with limited wide receivers. He looks to have finally found his home after a few places kicked him out. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have another big year. And honestly, Tom, I think this line is low. Like I say, last year he was about 4,500. He didn't miss a game last year, which obviously factor that in, but I think 3,800 is very, very achievable.
The great thing with Baker Mayfield is he's going to throw the ball a lot. And he's going to have games where he gets passing yards over 300, 350, maybe even 400 yards. So, yeah, if he stays healthy, I think he hits the over.
Yeah, his leg could be hanging off as well, and Baker Mayfield will still go out and play. He is one of the toughest guys in the league. But I love Baker to have another good year. I think he'll be a guy to target in your fantasy drafts as well. Just as a reminder, if you want to enter for our listener league, unless you're Brother Collins, unless you're Connor Hackett, unless you're Paul Powley, then leave a comment down below your favourite draft pick. That comment alone will get you into the hat for our next video, and we will be releasing that in 2 to 3 weeks' time when we're looking, actually, Tom, ahead to the season.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a couple of anti-post bets or something similar to that. It will be an anti-post or futures wager if you're in the US. Kind of look towards the NFL season, that's for sure. But yes, if you do like NFL fantasy and you want to take us on and take on some of the other viewers, then just leave that comment down below. One pick that you liked in the NFL draft. It could be your team, could be any other team or any other person that you thought was a great pick in the draft. And that immediately enters you. Maybe Luke will do some kind of spinning wheel or draw out of a hat in the next podcast, and yeah, maybe your name could get chosen.
Maybe I'll get Dolly to eat a snack off the floor. And
Maybe.
Dolly's my dog, by the way.
That is a great point. If you didn't mention that, that could sound odd.
Dolly's my dog. She's outside at the moment, but I promise you, dog. I don't even know what my next point was going to be. If you're sitting here thinking, wow, I really like those two guys. I've never seen them before. Love these two guys, though. They've got great chemistry. They're really handsome. I want to see more of them. Subscribe down below. Leave or hit the ring bell thing. Then you get notified whenever we put a video up. Comment down below as well. And also, we are also talking about horse racing as well. The Kentucky Derby is this week, depending on when you're watching this, and the Kentucky Oaks. We've got videos previewing both of those on our channel right now. But that is our recap of the NFL draft. Hopefully plenty more winners to come. Well done to everyone in the Listener League. Until we next speak to you on the NFL side of things, stay safe. Look after other. Goodbye.